What if the secret to success wasn't luck, talent, or even hard work, but the first hour of your day? This audiobook reveals the hidden power of the 5 a.m. habit, showing you how to unlock unstoppable focus, energy, and momentum. Your future is waiting. Will you rise to meet it? Introduction. Imagine this. While the world sleeps, you're already ahead, planning, executing, transforming. The streets are silent, the air is crisp, and there's a rare kind of stillness in the early morning that feels like a secret only the successful have unlocked. It's in these early hours that empires are built, ideas are born, and lives are changed. The question is, are you ready to join the revolution? We live in a world that tells us that success is complicated, that you need the perfect strategy, the perfect timing, the perfect connections. But what if the real secret isn't about perfection at all? What if everything you want, more time, more focus, more success, is hidden in the simplest shift you can make? The moment your alarm goes off at 5 a.m., you are choosing discipline over comfort, growth over stagnation, and victory over mediocrity. If you're skeptical, I get it. You've heard it before. Waking up early is overrated. I'm just not a morning person. I work better at night. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. Your habits are either making you unstoppable or keeping you stuck. The most successful people in the world, CEOs, athletes, billionaires, top performers, don't wake up early because they have to. They wake up early because they can't afford not to. Why waking up early changes everything. Think about the most productive people you admire. Do you really think they're rolling out of bed at noon, scrambling through their day, reacting instead of executing? Number. They are ahead of the game before the rest of the world even wakes up. Waking up at 5 a.m. is not just about getting up early. It's about taking control of your life before the day takes control of you. Science backs this up. Studies show that early risers have higher levels of willpower, are more proactive, and make better decisions. When you wake up at 5 a.m., you tap into the power of undistracted deep work, allowing you to focus on your biggest goals before distractions, notifications, and obligations hijack your energy. You're no longer playing defense against your schedule. You're strategically attacking your goals with laser-sharp focus. And let's be real. Most people waste their mornings. They hit snooze 5 times, scroll social media, and drag themselves into the day with no clear direction. But you're different. You're here because you want more time, more success, more control over your life. How this audiobook will guide you. This isn't just another book about waking up early. This is your blueprint for mastering the 5 a.m. habit and using it as a weapon for unstoppable success. Inside, you'll discover the psychology of why waking up early rewires your brain for success, and why night owls can absolutely become morning champions. A battle-tested, step-by-step plan to make 5 a.m. effortless, even if you hate mornings right now. The secret morning routines of the world's highest achievers, and how to customize one that makes you unbreakable. How to use the first 60 minutes of your day to 10 times your productivity, focus, and energy. The hidden power of momentum stacking, and how small wins at 5 a.m. create massive success in every area of your life. But here's the catch. Just reading this book won't change your life. Taking action will. If you commit, if you apply these principles, you will wake up a month from now as a completely different person. Stronger, sharper, and more in control than ever before. Common myths about early rising and why they're wrong. Let's bust some of the biggest lies about waking up early. I'm just not a morning person. Truth. Being a morning person is not genetic. It's a learned habit. Your body and brain can adapt faster than you think. I get my best work done at night. Truth. You might think so, but studies show willpower and cognitive function decline as the day progresses. Mornings are when your mind is at its sharpest. I need 8 hours of sleep, so I can't wake up early. Truth. Waking up early isn't about sacrificing sleep. It's about sleeping smarter. When you optimize your sleep schedule, 6 to 7 quality hours can be more powerful than 8+ hours of fragmented rest. I've tried before, but I always fall back into old habits. Truth. You didn't fail. You just didn't have the right system. This audiobook will teach you the fail-proof strategies to make early rising effortless. This isn't just a book. It's a wake-up call, literally. The decision you make today could change the trajectory of your entire life. You can keep hitting snooze, repeating the same cycle, and wondering why success feels out of reach. Or you can rise up, take control, rewrite your story, and become the unstoppable force you were meant to be. The revolution starts now. The only question is, are you in? Chapter 1. The Science of Waking Up Early. The human body is governed by an internal timekeeper known as the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour biological cycle that influences nearly every function, from sleep patterns to hormone production and mental alertness. This internal clock is primarily regulated by exposure to light and darkness, dictating when you feel awake, when you become sleepy, and even how your metabolism functions throughout the day. The reason many people struggle to wake up early is that their circadian rhythm has been disrupted by modern habits, late-night screen exposure, erratic sleep schedules, and inconsistent bedtimes. However, by aligning with this natural rhythm rather than working against it, you can unlock a state of peak performance where waking up early feels effortless rather than a battle against exhaustion. Scientists have found that individuals who consistently wake up early and maintain a structured sleep routine tend to experience improved cognitive function, better emotional regulation, and even enhanced immune system efficiency. When you wake up at the same time every morning, particularly at an optimal time like 5 a.m., you help your body establish a stronger, more predictable rhythm, which results in sustained energy throughout the day rather than unpredictable waves of fatigue. The body's master clock, located in the suprachiasmatic nucleus of the brain, responds to environmental cues such as sunlight to regulate the release of hormones like cortisol and melatonin. Cortisol, often referred to as the wakefulness hormone, naturally peaks in the early morning, providing the alertness needed to start the day. However, when people wake up late or use alarm clocks erratically, they often interfere with this process, making mornings feel groggy and sluggish rather than invigorating. Melatonin, on the other hand, is the hormone responsible for signaling sleep, and it is primarily suppressed by exposure to blue light from screens at night. This is why so many individuals struggle with falling asleep at a reasonable hour. Our modern world is filled with artificial light that tricks the brain into thinking it's still daytime, disrupting the natural sleep-wake cycle. By waking up at 5 a.m. and adjusting exposure to natural and artificial light, you can train your body to produce melatonin at the right times, ensuring deeper, higher quality sleep and an easier time rising in the morning. The benefits of this synchronization extend beyond just improved wakefulness. They contribute to a stronger immune system, better focus, and even a reduced risk of chronic conditions like obesity and heart disease. The impact of early rising on brain function research in neuroscience has consistently shown that the brain operates at different levels of efficiency depending on the time of day. One of the most compelling findings is that cognitive performance follows a predictable rhythm, with the brain's peak alertness occurring in the early morning hours, typically within 1 to 3 hours after waking. This period is often referred to as the brain's golden window for deep work, problem solving, and creative thinking. By waking up at 5 a.m., you position yourself to take full advantage of this peak state, while the rest of the world is still asleep, allowing you to accomplish high-value tasks without the usual distractions and interruptions. Studies have shown that early risers tend to exhibit greater problem-solving skills, enhanced memory retention, and improved emotional resilience compared to those who sleep in and start their day later. This is partly due to the fact that the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and rational thought, is most active during the early morning hours before it becomes fatigued by the demands of the day. Moreover, waking up early has a profound effect on the production of neurotransmitters that regulate mood and motivation. Dopamine, often referred to as the reward chemical, is released in higher quantities in the morning, contributing to feelings of enthusiasm and drive. Serotonin, which is crucial for maintaining emotional balance and reducing stress, is also at optimal levels early in the day. In contrast, individuals who wake up late often experience an imbalance in these neurotransmitters, leading to sluggishness, irritability, and difficulty focusing. Additionally, the act of waking up early and maintaining discipline around a morning routine creates a psychological feedback loop. When you start your day with a sense of control and accomplishment, you set the tone for productivity and confidence throughout the rest of the day. Many of the world's most successful individuals, from CEOs to elite athletes, swear by the 5 a.m. habit precisely because of this mental advantage. By mastering your mornings, you take charge of your brain's peak performance window and maximize your ability to think clearly, plan effectively, and execute with precision. The relationship between sleep cycles and energy levels. One of the biggest misconceptions about waking up early is the idea that it automatically leads to sleep deprivation. In reality, it's not just about waking up early. It's about structuring your sleep cycles properly to ensure that you wake up feeling refreshed rather than groggy. Sleep is composed of multiple 90-minute cycles, each consisting of light sleep, deep sleep, and REM, rapid eye movement sleep, which is critical for cognitive processing and memory consolidation. When you wake up in the middle of a sleep cycle, particularly during deep sleep, you experience a phenomenon called sleep inertia, which results in extreme grogginess and disorientation. However, when you wake up at the end of a cycle, particularly after REM sleep, you feel more alert and energized. This is why setting a consistent bedtime that aligns with your wake-up time is crucial. If you aim to wake up at 5 a.m., your optimal bedtime should be structured to allow for complete 90-minute cycles, typically falling around 9:30 or 10 p.m. Another important factor in sustaining energy levels throughout the day is how you transition from sleep to wakefulness. The process of sleep inertia can be minimized through strategic movement and exposure to natural light. One of the best ways to signal to your body that it's time to be alert is by stepping outside for a few minutes of natural sunlight exposure, which triggers a cascade of biological responses that suppress melatonin and boost cortisol in a natural, sustainable way. Hydration is another critical component. During sleep, the body becomes mildly dehydrated, which can contribute to morning sluggishness. Drinking a glass of water upon waking helps jumpstart metabolism and rehydrate cells, leading to an immediate increase in energy levels. Many people also find that incorporating a light stretching routine or a short burst of exercise further accelerates the wake-up process, as movement increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain, reducing any lingering grogginess. Additionally, the concept of social jet lag plays a significant role in how well individuals adapt to an early morning routine. Social jet lag occurs when people maintain different sleep schedules on weekdays versus weekends, leading to a constant state of internal misalignment. For example, if someone wakes up at 5 a.m. on weekdays but sleeps in until 9 a.m. on weekends, they effectively shift their circadian rhythm by several hours each week, making it harder to maintain consistent energy levels. To fully embrace the 5 a.m. habit, it's essential to maintain a steady wake-up time even on weekends, allowing your body to fully adjust and reap the long-term benefits of a well-regulated sleep schedule. When done correctly, waking up early doesn't lead to exhaustion. It leads to a powerful state of sustained energy, mental clarity, and enhanced productivity that carries over into every aspect of life. Chapter 2. The Psychology of Habit Formation. The power of habits in shaping identity. Habits are not merely repetitive actions. They are the building blocks of identity, the invisible architecture that shapes who we become. Every decision we make, from the moment we wake up to how we structure our day, is a reflection of deeply ingrained habits. Scientists and psychologists have long studied the way habits dictate behavior, and what they have found is profound. Our daily habits account for nearly 45% of our actions, meaning almost half of what we do is driven by automatic routines rather than conscious decisions. This is why adopting the 5 a.m. habit is not just about waking up early. It is about transforming who you are at a fundamental level. If you see yourself as someone who rises early, takes control of the day, and proactively shapes your future, your identity begins to shift in alignment with that belief. This shift is crucial because identity-based habits are far more powerful than outcome-based habits. When someone says, "I want to wake up early," they are focusing on the action rather than the identity. However, when someone declares, "I am an early riser," they are defining themselves in a way that reinforces long-term commitment. Identity change is what allows habits to become effortless. When a behavior aligns with how you see yourself, resistance fades, and consistency becomes natural. The strongest habits are built upon the foundation of self-image reinforcement, which is why the most successful individuals cultivate habits that reflect their goals and aspirations. Consider the way athletes train, not because they simply want to exercise, but because they see themselves as athletes. Writers do not struggle to write every day because writing is not just a task, it is part of their identity. The same principle applies to waking up early. The moment you begin to see yourself as someone who naturally rises at 5 a.m., rather than someone forcing themselves into it, you shift from willpower to intrinsic motivation. This is where the real transformation happens, not just in the action itself, but in the way you perceive yourself. Every morning that you wake up at 5 a.m. reinforces this new identity, strengthening the neural pathways that make the habit more automatic. Over time, this self-perception eliminates the internal resistance that often causes people to abandon new routines, allowing the habit to take root and flourish. This is a substantial chapter, and I will now continue writing in the immersive, detailed style you requested. The focus will remain on the psychology of habit formation, ensuring every paragraph is rich in depth, logic, and engagement. The 21/90th Rule. How long it takes to build a habit. One of the biggest misconceptions about habit formation is the belief that it happens overnight. People often assume that if they attempt a new behavior for a few days or weeks, it will become second nature. However, research in psychology tells a different story. The 21/90 Rule is a well-known principle that suggests it takes 21 days to build a habit and 90 days to make it a permanent lifestyle change. This principle is based on studies that show neural pathways require consistent reinforcement before an action moves from being a conscious effort to an automatic behavior. During the initial 21 days, the brain is still resisting change. It views the new habit as unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and even unnecessary. This is why so many people give up before they reach the threshold of habit formation. But for those who push past this initial resistance and continue practicing the behavior for 90 days, the habit embeds itself into their identity, making it second nature rather than something they struggle to maintain. The reason behind this timeline is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated actions. When you start waking up at 5 a.m., your brain is initially resistant because it has been conditioned to expect a different routine, perhaps waking up at 7 a.m. or staying up late and feeling sluggish in the morning. Each time you override this old pattern and wake up at 5 a.m., your brain creates new neural connections that strengthen over time. The first few days might feel like a battle, as your body and mind resist the change, but after 3 weeks, you begin to notice a shift. Waking up early starts feeling less like a struggle and more like a natural part of your day. By the time you reach 90 days, your brain has fully adapted and the behavior becomes automatic. This is why it is essential to commit to the long game rather than expecting immediate results. Habit formation is not about quick fixes, but about creating lasting identity shifts. Overcoming resistance and mental blocks. Resistance is an inevitable part of habit formation, especially when introducing a major shift like waking up at 5 a.m. The human brain is wired to seek comfort and efficiency, which means any significant deviation from existing routines is met with psychological resistance. This resistance often manifests as self-sabotage, where people find excuses to avoid sticking to their new habit. They might rationalize that they didn't sleep well last night, deserve a break, or aren't naturally a morning person. These thoughts are not truths. They are simply mental blocks designed to keep the brain in its comfort zone. The key to overcoming this resistance is recognizing it for what it is: a temporary obstacle, not a permanent limitation. One of the most effective ways to combat mental resistance is through pre-commitment strategies. Research has shown that when individuals make a commitment to a behavior in advance, whether through scheduling, accountability partners, or public declarations, they are far more likely to follow through. For example, setting multiple alarms, placing the alarm clock across the room, and preparing your morning essentials the night before all create psychological triggers that make it easier to wake up at 5 a.m. Another powerful strategy is habit stacking, where you tie the new habit to an existing one. Instead of viewing 5 a.m. wake-ups as an isolated event, connect it to something you already do, such as drinking coffee, journaling, or meditating. This technique leverages existing neural pathways to make the new habit feel less foreign and more integrated into your routine. The habit loop. Cue, routine, and reward. The science of habit formation revolves around what psychologists call the habit loop, a 3-step process that governs nearly every behavior: cue, routine, and reward. Understanding this loop is crucial for mastering the 5 a.m. habit because it allows you to consciously design a system that makes waking up early effortless rather than forced. 1. Cue. The cue is the trigger that initiates the habit. It could be something as simple as the sound of your alarm, the placement of your phone outside your bedroom, or even a preset light that mimics natural sunrise. The key to making this effective is consistency. If your cue changes daily, your brain struggles to establish a pattern. This is why setting a fixed wake-up time and reinforcing it with strong environmental triggers is essential. Second, routine. This is the actual behavior. In this case, waking up at 5 a.m. The challenge most people face is that their routine is often disrupted by decision fatigue, the mental exhaustion that comes from overthinking small choices. The best way to solidify your morning routine is to remove friction. For example, laying out workout clothes the night before, setting up a designated journal, or automating your alarm system. The fewer obstacles between you and your routine, the easier it becomes to follow through. 3. Reward. This is the crucial final step that reinforces the habit. The brain thrives on immediate gratification, which means you need to associate your 5 a.m. wake-up with an instant, positive reward. This could be a hot cup of coffee, the peaceful silence of the early morning, or a moment of reflection before the day begins. By ensuring that your brain links waking up early with pleasure rather than struggle, you create a self-reinforcing loop that strengthens the habit over time. When this habit loop is consistently followed, waking up at 5 a.m. transitions from a forced behavior to a deeply ingrained lifestyle choice. Rather than battling your willpower every morning, you wake up automatically with no resistance, because your brain has been trained to expect the cue, routine, and reward. The biggest mistake people make when attempting to build a habit is focusing only on the action rather than the belief system behind it. If you approach waking up early as merely a task rather than an identity shift, it will always feel like an uphill battle. However, the moment you start seeing yourself as someone who naturally wakes up at 5 a.m., takes charge of their day, and embraces discipline, the habit begins to feel effortless. This is because your brain no longer perceives it as an external demand, but as a reflection of who you are. One of the most powerful mindset shifts is embracing delayed gratification, the ability to sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term gains. Every great achievement in life, from building a successful career to achieving peak fitness, is rooted in the ability to prioritize long-term rewards over short-term pleasure. Waking up at 5 a.m. is a symbolic representation of this principle. It is the practice of choosing growth over comfort, purpose over convenience, and self-mastery over complacency. By committing to this habit, you are not just changing what time you wake up. You are transforming your relationship with discipline, productivity, and success. The 5 a.m. habit is not just about mornings. It is about who you become in the process. It is about proving to yourself that you have the ability to take control of your time, energy, and future. As you embrace the psychology of habit formation, remember that success is not about willpower, but about systems, identity, and consistency. If you apply these principles, you will not only master waking up early, but also cultivate a life of intentionality, discipline, and excellence. Chapter 3. Mastering the Morning Routine. The importance of a structured morning. The first hour of your day is the foundation upon which the rest is built. Every morning is a blank slate, a chance to set the trajectory of your thoughts, energy, and focus. Yet, most people approach mornings passively, hitting the snooze button, checking their phones, or rushing through their routines without intention. This chaotic start often leads to mental clutter, stress, and inefficiency, making the day feel like a reaction rather than a deliberate creation. However, those who have mastered the art of the morning routine understand that the first few hours of wakefulness are the most potent. The mind is fresh, free from external distractions, and capable of deep focus, making it the ideal time to engage in activities that align with long-term goals and personal growth. A structured morning is not about rigid discipline or forcing productivity. It is about optimizing energy, clarity, and motivation in a way that carries forward into the rest of the day. Neuroscience has shown that the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and creativity, is at its peak during the early hours. This is why those who start their day with intentional habits, such as journaling, exercise, meditation, or learning, often experience higher levels of productivity, reduced stress, and greater emotional resilience throughout the day. The key to mastering mornings lies in designing a routine that energizes rather than exhausts, ensuring that each activity serves a purpose rather than simply filling time. When structured correctly, a powerful morning routine becomes an anchor of stability, creating momentum that makes the rest of the day unfold with greater ease, efficiency, and purpose. The science of cortisol and morning energy. Biologically, mornings are the body's peak performance window, yet many people sabotage this natural rhythm by engaging in behaviors that drain their energy rather than enhance it. One of the most important physiological factors to consider when designing a morning routine is cortisol, the hormone that regulates alertness and wakefulness. Around 30 to 45 minutes after waking up, cortisol levels naturally rise, creating a state of heightened awareness, focus, and energy. This phenomenon, known as the cortisol awakening response, CAR, is the body's built-in system for helping you feel awake and ready to take on the day. However, if you wake up and immediately expose yourself to stress, such as checking emails, scrolling through social media, or skipping breakfast, this natural energy boost is disrupted, leading to sluggishness and mental fog. To maximize morning energy, it is essential to align your routine with your body's natural biological rhythms. This means avoiding stimulants like caffeine too early, allowing natural light to regulate your circadian rhythm, and engaging in movement to activate the nervous system. Small adjustments, such as stepping outside for 5 minutes of sunlight exposure or drinking water before coffee, can significantly enhance morning alertness and prevent the midday crashes that many experience. By understanding how the body works in the morning, you can design a routine that amplifies energy rather than depletes it, setting the stage for a productive and focused day. Designing the ultimate morning routine. A powerful morning routine is not about complexity or length. It is about efficiency and alignment with your personal goals. While some successful people swear by elaborate morning rituals, the most effective routines are simple, sustainable, and purposeful. A well-structured morning consists of 3 essential pillars: mental priming, physical activation, and strategic planning. 1. Mental priming. This involves engaging in activities that set a positive and focused mindset for the day. It could include journaling, meditation, gratitude exercises, or simply reading something inspiring. The goal is to eliminate mental clutter and replace it with clarity and purpose. 2. Physical activation. Movement is essential for jump-starting the body's energy systems. Whether it is a full workout, stretching, or even a short walk, engaging in physical activity boosts circulation, enhances focus, and releases endorphins, setting a positive tone for the rest of the day. 3. Strategic planning. The final component of a powerful morning routine is intentional planning. Rather than jumping into tasks reactively, take a few minutes to review your priorities, set clear objectives, and establish a roadmap for the day. This simple step eliminates decision fatigue and ensures that your time and energy are directed toward what truly matters. Each person's ideal morning routine will look different based on their lifestyle and priorities, but the fundamental principles remain the same. The key is to eliminate distractions, engage in activities that fuel both the mind and body, and set a clear direction for the day. The role of consistency in building momentum. A morning routine is only effective if practiced consistently. One of the most common mistakes people make is expecting immediate results, only to abandon the routine when they do not see a dramatic transformation right away. However, the power of a morning routine lies in its compounding effect. Each morning that is spent intentionally strengthens mental clarity, discipline, and productivity, creating a positive feedback loop that enhances overall well-being. Consistency does not mean perfection. There will be days when schedules are disrupted, motivation is low, or circumstances make it difficult to follow the routine exactly as planned. The key is flexibility without abandonment, adjusting the routine as needed rather than discarding it entirely. Even if time is limited, engaging in a shorter version of the routine can maintain momentum and prevent regression into old habits. By prioritizing consistency over intensity, the morning routine evolves from an obligation into an effortless and natural part of daily life. Mastering the morning routine is not just about waking up early. It is about taking control of your life. How you spend the first few hours of your day determines the trajectory of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Those who start their day with clarity, energy, and intention are far more likely to achieve their goals, maintain focus, and experience a sense of fulfillment. On the other hand, those who allow mornings to unfold passively often find themselves struggling with stress, distraction, and inefficiency throughout the day. Your morning routine is your foundation, the silent force that shapes the rest of your waking hours. It is not about fitting into someone else's mold, but about designing a ritual that aligns with your highest values and aspirations. When structured correctly, mornings become a powerful force of transformation, enabling you to operate at your highest level. not just for a few days, but for a lifetime. By mastering your mornings, you are not just optimizing a few hours of your day, you are fundamentally changing how you approach life itself. The key is not perfection, but intention, consistency, and alignment. When you start your day with purpose, every other aspect of your life begins to align with that energy, creating a ripple effect of clarity, focus, and success. Chapter 4: The Psychology of Early Rising Understanding. The mental barriers to waking up. Waking up early is not just a battle against the alarm clock, it is a battle against the mind. The reluctance to rise before dawn is deeply psychological, rooted in habits, conditioned responses, and the brain's instinct for comfort. Many people struggle with early rising, not because they are physically incapable, but because their minds associate mornings with deprivation rather than opportunity. The subconscious mind, conditioned by years of hitting the snooze button or associating mornings with stress, perceives the act of waking up early as something to be avoided. This resistance manifests in rationalizations. I'll start tomorrow? I didn't get enough sleep. Or, I work better at night. These are not truths, but rather defense mechanisms designed to keep the body in its default state of comfort. However, breaking free from this cycle requires a psychological shift. The moment early rising is reframed as an empowering choice rather than a punishment, the brain stops resisting it. This transformation does not happen overnight, but through repeated exposure and positive reinforcement. Those who succeed in becoming early risers do not possess superhuman discipline. They simply rewire their minds to associate early mornings with clarity, achievement, and progress rather than fatigue. The key lies in understanding that the struggle to wake up early is not physical, but mental, and that by altering thought patterns, anyone can train themselves to rise with energy and enthusiasm rather than reluctance. The role of identity in becoming an early riser. One of the most overlooked aspects of waking up early is the role of identity. People act in alignment with their self-perception, and as long as someone identifies as not a morning person, their behavior will reflect that belief. Identity is the driving force behind habits, and when it comes to early rising, the shift must begin with how one sees oneself. The person who truly believes, I am someone who wakes up early, will instinctively act in ways that reinforce that identity. They will go to bed on time, resist the temptation to stay up late scrolling through their phone, and wake up without hitting snooze. However, someone who clings to the belief that they are a night owl will continuously find reasons to justify late nights and struggle with mornings. The process of changing identity is not about forcing oneself into an unnatural mold, but about gradually reinforcing a new self-concept through small wins. If someone wakes up early just once, they may see it as an anomaly. But if they do it consistently for a week, their brain starts to internalize the shift. With each successful morning, the new identity strengthens and waking up early becomes less of a challenge and more of an expectation. The moment someone truly believes they are an early riser, the struggle disappears, replaced by a natural inclination toward morning discipline. This is why long-term change is not about willpower alone, but about aligning behavior with identity in a way that feels natural and inevitable. Breaking the snooze button's habit. One of the greatest obstacles to early rising is the snooze button. It may seem like a small act, pressing a button for just 5 more minutes, but in reality, it is a powerful psychological reinforcement of procrastination. Every time the snooze button is hit, the brain receives the message that commitments can be delayed, that discomfort can be avoided, and that immediate gratification takes precedence over long-term goals. Over time, this creates a habit loop where the act of waking up is associated with resistance rather than readiness. The solution is to eliminate the decision entirely. If waking up is treated as an option, the mind will always negotiate for more sleep. However, If waking up is treated as a non-negotiable action, resistance disappears. One of the most effective methods for breaking the snooze habit is the feet on the floor rule. The moment the alarm rings, the feet must touch the ground. This simple physical action disrupts the cycle of hesitation and signals to the body that it is time to start the day. By removing the possibility of a second decision, waking up becomes an automatic behavior rather than a battle of willpower. Another strategy involves placing the alarm across the room, forcing movement the moment it goes off. The act of getting out of bed disrupts the desire to return to sleep, making it easier to stay awake. Additionally, using a wake-up ritual, such as immediately drinking a glass of water or stepping into bright light, further reinforces alertness. The key to breaking the snooze button habit is to eliminate the opportunity for delay and create a morning environment that makes waking up the default rather than the exception. Overcoming morning fatigue, the energy mindset shift. Many people avoid waking up early because they associate mornings with fatigue and grogginess. However, this tiredness is often psychological rather than physical. Studies have shown that the way people perceive their energy levels influences how they actually feel. If someone wakes up believing, "I am exhausted," their brain will generate sensations of fatigue to match that belief. Conversely, if someone wakes up with the thought, "I feel energized and ready," their body responds with greater alertness. This phenomenon, known as the expectancy effect, reveals how powerful the mind is in shaping physical sensations. One of the most effective ways to shift the energy mindset is through pre-sleep programming. The thoughts that dominate the mind before bed influence the experience of waking up. If someone goes to sleep dreading the morning, their subconscious will reinforce that expectation. However, if they go to bed with excitement for the morning, their brain will be primed to wake up with enthusiasm. A simple practice to implement is verbal affirmation before sleep, telling oneself, "I will wake up feeling refreshed and ready." While it may seem minor, this shift in expectation has a profound impact on morning energy levels. Another powerful technique is the 5-second rule, popularized by Mel Robbins. The moment the alarm goes off, counting down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and immediately taking action prevents hesitation. This works by bypassing the brain's resistance mechanisms and activating the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and focus. By taking action before the mind can generate excuses, the transition from sleep to wakefulness becomes effortless. The psychology of early rising is not about forcing oneself into unnatural habits, but about reprogramming the mind to align with success. Waking up early is not a burden, but an opportunity, a time of clarity, focus, and productivity. However, in order to embrace this mindset, the brain must be trained to see mornings as an advantage rather than a struggle. This requires changing internal narratives, reinforcing new identities, and eliminating self-sabotaging habits. Those who master the psychology of waking up early understand that the key is not in the alarm clock, but in the way they think about mornings. By shifting identity, eliminating decision fatigue, and embracing the energy mindset, early rising becomes effortless. The struggle disappears, replaced by a natural inclination toward discipline and purpose. Once mornings are mastered, the rest of life follows suit, because how a day begins determines how it unfolds. Chapter 5. The Science of Sleep and Optimal Rest. Understanding the sleep cycle. The foundation of restorative sleep is not a single uniform state of unconsciousness, but a complex, highly structured process that cycles through multiple stages, each playing a distinct role in physical and mental recovery. The sleep cycle consists of 4 key stages: light sleep, stage 1 and stage 2, deep sleep, stage 3, and REM sleep, stage 4. These cycles repeat approximately every 90 minutes, with each stage contributing to different aspects of restoration and cognitive function. Light sleep serves as the transition phase, preparing the body for deeper rest, while deep sleep is responsible for physical recovery, immune system strengthening, and cellular repair. REM sleep, characterized by heightened brain activity and vivid dreams, is where the mind consolidates memories, processes emotions, and enhances problem-solving abilities. The key to waking up feeling refreshed is not just the total number of hours slept, but completing full sleep cycles. When an alarm interrupts sleep in the middle of deep or REM sleep, it causes sleep inertia, a state of grogginess and disorientation that can persist for hours. This is why waking up after 7.5 or 9 hours, multiples of 90-minute cycles, feels significantly better than waking after 8 hours, which might cut a cycle short. Understanding this structure allows for strategic sleep planning, ensuring the body and brain receive the full benefits of rest. How poor sleep disrupts early rising and performance. One of the biggest obstacles to waking up early is poor quality sleep. Many people believe that simply going to bed earlier guarantees they will wake up refreshed, but sleep quality is just as important as sleep quantity. Factors such as blue light exposure, erratic sleep schedules, high caffeine intake, stress, and poor sleep hygiene disrupt sleep cycles, leading to fragmented rest. When sleep is disrupted, the body fails to complete essential recovery processes, leaving individuals feeling exhausted regardless of how long they were in bed. Chronic sleep deprivation affects more than just energy levels. It impairs cognitive function, weakens the immune system, and disrupts hormonal balance. Sleep deprivation leads to increased levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, which triggers higher levels of anxiety, irritability, and reduced ability to focus. Additionally, lack of sleep impairs the body's ability to regulate insulin and hunger hormones, leading to increased cravings for high-calorie foods and greater susceptibility to weight gain. This explains why those who consistently sleep poorly struggle with both mental clarity and physical well-being. Beyond health impacts, poor sleep directly undermines the habit of early rising. When the body is not properly rested, waking up becomes a battle of willpower rather than a natural transition. This is why establishing consistent sleep quality strategies is essential, not just for sustaining an early morning routine, but for maximizing productivity and long-term well-being. Mastering sleep hygiene, how to optimize rest. The key to waking up early without exhaustion is mastering sleep hygiene, a set of habits that enhance the quality of sleep and ensure full recovery. One of the most critical aspects of sleep hygiene is maintaining a consistent sleep schedule. The human body operates on a circadian rhythm, an internal biological clock that regulates sleep-wake cycles. When bedtime and wake-up times fluctuate, the body struggles to establish a steady rhythm, leading to difficulties falling asleep and waking up. Going to bed and waking up at the same time daily, even on weekends, reinforces the body's natural sleep cycle, making early rising effortless. Another crucial factor is reducing blue light exposure before bed. Screens from phones, tablets, and computers emit blue light that suppresses melatonin, the hormone responsible for inducing sleep. Exposure to screens within an hour of bedtime delays sleep onset, reduces REM sleep, and makes waking up early significantly harder. To counteract this, using blue light filters, switching to dim lighting in the evening, and replacing screen time with reading or meditation can dramatically improve sleep quality. Additionally, the sleeping environment plays a vital role in restfulness. Cool temperatures, complete darkness, and minimal noise enhance deep sleep by reducing disturbances. Keeping the bedroom at a temperature of 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius, using blackout curtains and eliminating background noise can create an ideal sleep environment. These small adjustments accumulate into profound improvements in sleep efficiency, allowing for full recovery and effortless early rising. The impact of diet and exercise on sleep quality. Sleep is not an isolated function. It is deeply influenced by lifestyle choices, particularly diet and exercise. Caffeine and alcohol are two of the biggest culprits in disrupting sleep. Caffeine, found in coffee, tea, energy drinks, and chocolate, has a half-life of 5 to 6 hours, meaning half of the caffeine consumed remains in the bloodstream hours after consumption. Drinking coffee in the afternoon can delay sleep onset and reduce deep sleep, leading to morning grogginess. To optimize sleep, limiting caffeine intake to the morning and avoiding it at least 6 hours before bedtime ensures the body can enter deep sleep stages without disruption. Similarly, while alcohol may seem to induce drowsiness, it actually fragments sleep cycles and reduces REM sleep, leading to poor recovery and reduced mental clarity the next day. Those committed to early rising should minimize alcohol intake or avoid it entirely to ensure sleep quality remains high. Exercise also plays a pivotal role in sleep regulation. Regular physical activity increases sleep drive, enhances deep sleep, and reduces stress hormones that interfere with rest. However, timing matters. Vigorous exercise too close to bedtime can elevate adrenaline and body temperature, making it harder to fall asleep. The best time for exercise is morning or early evening, allowing the body ample time to cool down and transition into sleep mode naturally. By integrating strategic diet and exercise habits, sleep quality is optimized, making early rising an effortless and energizing habit rather than a struggle. Mastering early mornings is impossible without mastering sleep. Waking up at 5 a.m. is not just about setting an alarm. It is about ensuring the body is fully recharged, the mind is clear, and energy levels are maximized. Understanding the science of sleep cycles, optimizing sleep hygiene, and aligning diet and exercise habits with restorative sleep creates the foundation for a sustainable early morning habit. When sleep quality is prioritized, waking up early is no longer a struggle. Instead of battling fatigue, individuals wake up feeling naturally refreshed, focused, and ready to take on the day. Early rising becomes not just a habit, but a strategic advantage, allowing for enhanced productivity, creativity, and overall well-being. Those who master sleep unlock their fullest potential, gaining control over their mornings and, ultimately, their lives. Chapter 6. Building the Perfect Morning Routine. Why morning routines shape the entire day. The way a morning begins dictates the trajectory of the entire day. A well-structured, purposeful morning routine establishes momentum, focus, and a sense of control, allowing individuals to move through their day with intentionality and discipline rather than reaction and chaos. However, many people start their mornings in a state of stress, rushing to get ready, scrolling through their phones, or hitting the snooze button multiple times. This lack of structure sets a negative psychological tone, making it more likely that the rest of the day will be unproductive, fragmented, and filled with unnecessary stress. Conversely, those who master their mornings enter each day with a sense of clarity and readiness, making them far more effective in their work, relationships, and personal growth. The key to a powerful morning routine is not just about waking up early, but about what is done in the first hour after waking. This golden hour is when the brain is most impressionable, free from external distractions, and in an optimal state for creative thinking, strategic planning, and personal development. This is why the most successful individuals, from top CEOs to elite athletes, follow highly structured morning routines. These routines are not random. They are designed to maximize mental clarity, energy, and productivity by focusing on key activities that stimulate the mind and body in a balanced way. The psychology of habit formation in morning routines. A morning routine is not a random sequence of activities. It is a deliberate system of habits that becomes automatic over time. Understanding the psychology of habit formation is crucial in creating a routine that sticks. The brain operates on habit loops consisting of a cue, a routine, and a reward. A strong morning routine begins with a clear cue, such as the sound of an alarm, the act of stepping out of bed, or turning on a specific song. This cue triggers a series of habitual actions, such as drinking water, exercising, journaling, or meditating. The final part of the loop is the reward, which can be the sense of accomplishment, mental clarity, or physical energy gained from completing the routine. To ensure consistency, morning routines must be easy to follow and enjoyable. Many people fail to stick to a routine because they try to incorporate too many drastic changes at once, leading to burnout. The key is starting small and gradually layering new habits. For example, rather than attempting an hour-long routine on day 1, beginning with just 10 minutes of stretching, reading, or mindfulness can build momentum. Over time, as the habit loop strengthens, the routine becomes an automatic and non-negotiable part of the day, making it effortless to maintain. The essential components of a high-performance morning routine. An effective morning routine consists of 5 key pillars: hydration, movement, mindfulness, goal setting, and learning. Each of these elements plays a critical role in priming the body and mind for peak performance. 1. Hydration. After several hours of sleep, the body is naturally dehydrated, which leads to fatigue, sluggishness, and impaired cognitive function. Drinking a full glass of water immediately upon waking jumpstarts metabolism, flushes out toxins, and rehydrates the brain, improving mental clarity and energy levels. Adding electrolytes or a squeeze of lemon enhances this effect, replenishing essential minerals lost overnight. Second, movement. Engaging in physical activity in the morning activates the nervous system, increases blood circulation, and releases endorphins, creating a natural energy boost. This does not necessarily mean an intense workout. Simple stretching, yoga, or a brisk walk is enough to wake up the body and increase focus. For those who prefer structured exercise, strength training or cardio sessions in the morning enhance discipline, boost metabolism, and create sustained energy for the day. 3. Mindfulness. The first moments of the morning set the tone for the entire day, making mindfulness practices like meditation, deep breathing, or gratitude journaling essential for mental clarity. Meditation, even for just 5 minutes, lowers stress, improves focus, and enhances self-awareness, creating a sense of calm before the demands of the day begin. Journaling, particularly writing down 3 things to be grateful for, shifts the mind toward positivity and resilience. 4th, goal setting. Mornings are the perfect time to set intentions and define priorities for the day. Rather than mindlessly diving into emails or social media, taking a few moments to write down the top 3 tasks for the day increases focus and productivity. This simple act prevents decision fatigue later in the day and ensures that energy is directed toward meaningful progress rather than distractions. 5. Learning. The morning is an ideal time for mental expansion and personal development. Whether through reading, listening to an audiobook, or studying a new skill, dedicating even 15 minutes to learning something new compounds into significant growth over time. Engaging with high-quality content in the morning, rather than consuming social media or news, sets an intellectual tone for the day, keeping the mind sharp and engaged. Avoiding common morning routine mistakes. Many people struggle with their morning routines because they fall into counterproductive habits that sabotage their effectiveness. One of the biggest mistakes is checking the phone immediately upon waking. The moment social media, emails, or news headlines are consumed, the brain shifts into a reactive state, responding to external stimuli rather than setting its own priorities. This habit not only increases stress, but also diminishes morning focus and productivity. The best practice is to avoid screens for at least the first 30 minutes of the morning, allowing for intentional and uninterrupted time for self-improvement. Another common mistake is skipping the night before preparation. A great morning routine actually begins the evening before. Simple actions such as laying out workout clothes, preparing a healthy breakfast, or writing down key tasks for the next day eliminate decision fatigue and create a seamless transition into the morning. When preparation is done in advance, mornings become effortless, reducing resistance to positive habits. Lastly, lack of flexibility can lead to failure in sustaining a routine. While consistency is important, rigid routines can become unsustainable, especially when unexpected events occur. The key is to maintain core habits while allowing for adaptability. For example, if a morning workout is missed due to travel, replacing it with a short stretching session ensures continuity. A routine should be structured yet adaptable, making it easy to maintain regardless of external circumstances. Final thoughts. Making mornings a competitive advantage. A powerful morning routine is more than just a collection of habits. It is a strategic system for optimizing energy, focus, and performance. Those who design their mornings with intention and discipline gain a distinct advantage, operating at higher levels of productivity, mental clarity, and resilience. By incorporating key elements like hydration, movement, mindfulness, goal setting, and learning, mornings become a launchpad for success rather than a time of grogginess and disorganization. Mastering mornings is not about rigid rules, but about creating a sequence of habits that align with personal goals and values. Once a morning routine is established and consistently practiced, it transforms from a conscious effort into an automatic part of life. Over time, this creates a powerful ripple effect, shaping not just individual days, but long-term success, fulfillment, and personal growth. The morning is the foundation upon which the rest of the day is built. Those who control their mornings control their destiny. Chapter 7. Mastering Discipline and Overcoming Resistance. The power of discipline, why it matters more than motivation. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is that it comes from motivation. People believe that if they can just stay motivated long enough, they will accomplish their goals, build new habits, and transform their lives. But motivation is fleeting. It is an emotional state that fluctuates based on mood, energy levels, and external circumstances. On some days, motivation feels abundant. Waking up early, exercising, and staying productive come effortlessly. On other days, however, it disappears completely, leaving individuals feeling sluggish, unmotivated, and prone to procrastination. This is why motivation alone is never enough. True success is built on discipline, the ability to act consistently regardless of feelings, external conditions, or momentary desires. Discipline is what separates those who achieve lasting success from those who remain stuck in cycles of inconsistency. Unlike motivation, which is an unreliable emotion, discipline is a habitual practice, a commitment to follow through on decisions even when the initial excitement fades. This is why elite athletes, top entrepreneurs, and high achievers all operate with rigid self-discipline, not just bursts of inspiration. They understand that growth happens not when it is convenient, but when it is deliberate and consistent. By shifting focus from motivation to discipline, individuals develop unshakable habits, ensuring that progress continues even when willpower runs low. Understanding resistance, the hidden force holding you back. One of the greatest obstacles to discipline is resistance, the internal force that fights against change and improvement. Resistance manifests as procrastination, self-doubt, distractions, and rationalization. It is the voice in the mind that whispers, "Just hit the snooze button once," or "You can always start tomorrow." It convinces individuals to take the easy route, avoiding discomfort in favor of immediate gratification. Understanding that resistance is inevitable is the first step in overcoming it. Resistance thrives on two things: uncertainty and discomfort. Whenever a new habit or discipline is introduced, whether waking up early, exercising, or focusing on deep work, resistance pushes back, making it feel difficult or unnatural. This is because the brain seeks to conserve energy, preferring familiar routines over effortful change. The key to defeating resistance is not eliminating it, but learning to act despite it. The moment action is taken, resistance weakens. Starting is the hardest part, but once a habit gains momentum, it becomes easier to maintain. Another powerful way to counteract resistance is reducing decision fatigue. The more choices the brain has to make, the easier it becomes to rationalize delays or avoidance. This is why structured routines, pre-planned actions, and automated habits are essential. The fewer decisions required, the less room resistance has to interfere. By making desired actions default behaviors, discipline becomes second nature. The role of identity in strengthening discipline. Many people approach discipline as something external, a force they must apply to themselves through willpower alone. But the most effective way to build lasting discipline is to align it with identity. Instead of saying, "I need to force myself to wake up early," it is far more powerful to say, "I am the kind of person who wakes up early." Identity-based habits are significantly stronger than discipline based solely on external goals. When an action is seen as part of one's core identity, it becomes automatic. A disciplined individual does not need to convince themselves to follow through. They simply act because it is who they are. This shift in perspective removes friction, making it easier to maintain habits in the long term. This is why professional athletes never question whether they should train. It is part of their identity. Similarly, those who develop a strong identity around discipline no longer battle with resistance in the same way. They act because it is natural to them. Building identity-based discipline requires reinforcement through repetition. Every time an action is taken that aligns with a desired identity, whether waking up at 5 a.m., exercising, or focusing on work, it strengthens self-perception. Over time, the identity of a disciplined person becomes unshakable, making resistance weaker and action effortless. How to strengthen discipline and build an unbreakable mindset. Discipline is like a muscle. It must be trained, strengthened, and reinforced over time. The more it is exercised, the stronger it becomes. Here are the most effective ways to develop an unbreakable foundation of discipline. 1. Eliminate decision fatigue. The fewer decisions needed, the easier discipline becomes. Pre-planning meals, workouts, and daily routines eliminates mental resistance and increases follow-through. 2. Use the 5-minute rule. When resistance is high, committing to just 5 minutes of an action removes the mental barrier to starting. Once movement begins, momentum takes over. 3. Leverage accountability. Having external accountability partners, mentors, or tracking systems reinforces discipline by adding responsibility beyond personal willpower. 4. Remove distractions. Discipline is strongest in an environment designed for success. Eliminating temptations, structuring workspaces, and minimizing digital distractions make disciplined actions easier. 5. Prioritize consistency over intensity. Small, consistent actions are more effective than sporadic bursts of effort. Building discipline through daily repetition solidifies habits into automatic behaviors. Turning discipline into a lifestyle. The ultimate goal is to make discipline a natural and effortless part of daily life. This requires shifting from a mindset of occasional effort to permanent transformation. Instead of seeing discipline as something to use only when needed, it must become the foundation for how life is structured. At first, building discipline feels effortful. The mind resists, habits feel unnatural, and results may take time to appear. But as consistency is maintained, the need for willpower fades. Discipline transitions from an external effort to an internal identity, making success inevitable. Over time, this creates a ripple effect. Stronger habits lead to better productivity. Better productivity leads to greater success, and greater success fuels deeper fulfillment. True discipline is not about forcing oneself into discomfort. It is about becoming the kind of person who naturally operates at a high level. It is about crafting a life where success is not a matter of chance, but of design and intentionality. By mastering discipline and overcoming resistance, individuals gain complete control over their mornings, their habits, and ultimately, their destiny. Chapter 8: The Science of Habit Formation and Long-Term Consistency. Understanding how habits are formed. The habit loop. At the core of every human behavior lies a deeply ingrained psychological mechanism known as the habit loop, a neurological cycle that dictates how behaviors become automatic. This loop consists of three essential components: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the trigger that signals the brain to initiate an action, often stemming from an environmental factor, a time-based occurrence, or an emotional state. The routine is the behavior itself, the repeated action that becomes ingrained over time. The reward is the positive reinforcement that solidifies the habit by associating it with pleasure or a sense of accomplishment. Every habit, whether beneficial or detrimental, follows this structured loop. For example, consider someone who instinctively checks their phone upon waking. The cue is the alarm ringing. The routine is grabbing the phone and scrolling through notifications. And the reward is the dopamine rush from new messages, social media interactions, or news updates. This cycle reinforces itself until the action becomes subconscious. Understanding the mechanics of the habit loop is the first step in gaining control over automatic behaviors. By recognizing cues and rewards, individuals can systematically reshape their habits, eliminating those that hinder growth while reinforcing those that promote success. Breaking an old habit requires disrupting the loop, either by removing the cue, changing the routine, or replacing the reward with something equally satisfying. Similarly, forming a new habit requires intentionally designing a strong cue, making the routine easy to follow, and ensuring the reward is compelling enough to maintain consistency. Those who master the habit loop gain the ability to shape their lives by constructing a framework that ensures discipline and long-term consistency. The role of neuroplasticity in habit formation. One of the most fascinating aspects of the human brain is its ability to rewire itself based on repeated actions and behaviors. This phenomenon, known as neuroplasticity, explains why habits, once formed, become effortless. The brain is constantly adapting, creating new neural connections while strengthening frequently used pathways. When a behavior is repeated consistently, the brain encodes it as an automatic function, reducing the cognitive effort required to execute it. This is why at first, waking up early, exercising, or focusing on deep work may feel difficult. The brain has not yet formed the necessary neural pathways to make these actions second nature. However, through deliberate repetition, these pathways strengthen, eventually making the behavior automatic. Just as a musician practices scales until their fingers move without conscious thought, or a driver instinctively navigates the roads without actively thinking about every turn, disciplined habits become ingrained in the subconscious mind. This understanding is crucial because it highlights that any habit can be developed or broken with consistent effort. No one is naturally disciplined or born with an early rising mindset. These are merely neural patterns that have been reinforced over time. The more frequently an action is performed, the stronger the neural pathways become. By leveraging neuroplasticity intentionally, individuals can design a lifestyle where productivity, discipline, and success operate on autopilot. Why small changes lead to massive results. The compound effect. Many people struggle with habit formation because they seek instant transformation, expecting drastic changes overnight. However, the most powerful habits are not built through extreme, short-lived efforts, but through small, consistent improvements, a principle known as the compound effect. This concept suggests that tiny, seemingly insignificant choices, when repeated consistently, lead to extraordinary long-term results. For example, consider the habit of reading. Reading for just 10 pages a day may not seem impactful in the short term. However, over a year, this accumulates to 3,650 pages, the equivalent of 10 to 15 full-length books. Similarly, making slight adjustments to morning routines, such as waking up 10 minutes earlier each week, eventually shifts an individual to a 5 a.m. wake-up time without abrupt discomfort. The key is recognizing that progress compounds over time. Small daily improvements create unstoppable momentum. This principle applies to all areas of life. Whether improving fitness, learning a skill, or developing discipline, the most effective approach is gradual, incremental change. By focusing on consistent 1% improvements, long-term success becomes inevitable. The compound effect ensures that actions taken today multiply in significance, shaping future outcomes in ways that seem almost invisible at first, but become undeniable over time. Building systems for unshakable consistency. Consistency is the backbone of habit formation and long-term success. Many people fail in their pursuit of positive change, not because they lack motivation, but because they lack a structured system. Without a clear, repeatable process, habits become inconsistent and unsustainable. High achievers do not rely on willpower alone. They design systems that make success automatic. A well-designed system removes friction from positive habits and increases resistance to negative ones. For example, someone trying to wake up at 5 a.m. should eliminate late-night distractions, set alarms across the room, and establish a pre-sleep routine to signal the brain that it is time for rest. Similarly, someone aiming to read more should place books in visible locations, reduce screen time before bed, and schedule reading sessions into their daily routine. By structuring environments to facilitate desired actions, consistency becomes effortless. Accountability is another critical factor in maintaining consistency. Having external reinforcement, whether through mentors, habit tracking apps, or accountability partners, greatly enhances long-term adherence. When commitments are public, or when progress is measured, the likelihood of follow-through increases significantly. A strong system ensures that success does not depend on fleeting motivation, but on reliable structures that support disciplined action. Reinforcing habits for lifelong success. The final step in habit mastery is reinforcement, ensuring that positive behaviors remain embedded in daily life indefinitely. Many people experience temporary success with new habits, only to abandon them after a few weeks. The key to long-term consistency lies in deliberate reinforcement through strategic review, celebration, and adaptation. One of the most effective reinforcement strategies is habit tracking, a visual representation of progress that builds momentum and strengthens commitment. Seeing a chain of completed actions, such as consecutive days of early rising, workouts, or focused work sessions, triggers psychological motivation to maintain streaks, making it harder to break consistency. Additionally, rewarding progress is essential. While intrinsic rewards like increased energy, productivity, and confidence naturally reinforce habits, adding small external rewards, such as personal incentives for milestone achievements, further solidifies commitment. The brain responds powerfully to rewards, associating positive emotions with disciplined behaviors. Lastly, habits must be periodically evaluated and refined. Life circumstances change, requiring adjustments in systems, routines, and approaches. Successful individuals are adaptable, continuously optimizing their habits to align with evolving goals. By maintaining a growth-oriented mindset, they ensure that habits remain relevant, effective, and permanently ingrained in their lifestyle. Mastering habit formation is the key to unlocking long-term consistency and achieving extraordinary success. By understanding the habit loop, leveraging neuroplasticity, applying the compound effect, and designing structured systems, individuals gain the power to control their actions, eliminate resistance, and shape their future with intention. Success is never an accident. It is the result of consistent, disciplined habits repeated over time. Those who master habit formation do not rely on willpower alone. They operate with deliberate systems that ensure automatic success. By applying these principles, anyone can design a life where discipline is effortless, productivity is second nature, and personal growth is a constant, unstoppable force. Chapter 9. Mastering the Power of Discipline and Mental Toughness. The foundation of discipline, understanding the true meaning. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many associate it with rigid routines, deprivation, or an exhausting battle against temptation. But at its core, discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. It is the ability to make decisions based on long-term benefit rather than immediate gratification. True discipline is not about punishing oneself for desires, but about elevating one's standards to align with the highest vision of life. It is a conscious commitment to pursue growth, push past limitations, and consistently show up regardless of motivation levels. Unlike motivation, which fluctuates based on emotions and external circumstances, discipline remains a constant, unwavering force. It is not dependent on how one feels in the moment, but on the deeply ingrained habits and structures that have been established. A disciplined individual understands that success is not determined by occasional bursts of inspiration, but by small, consistent actions repeated over time. Whether in fitness, career, relationships, or personal development, those who cultivate discipline gain absolute control over their destiny. Discipline also fosters confidence, because when one follows through on commitments, self-trust strengthens. Each act of discipline reinforces the belief that one is capable of achieving anything through focused effort and persistence. This internal trust becomes the foundation for tackling larger challenges and overcoming adversity with resilience. The journey to mastering discipline is not about perfection, but about daily progress, choosing to take action no matter how small, even when discomfort is present. Overcoming resistance, the battle against comfort and excuses. The greatest enemy of discipline is comfort. The modern world is designed to maximize ease, convenience, and instant gratification. With distractions at every turn, endless entertainment, fast food, and on-demand indulgences, resistance to productive habits has never been higher. The mind, wired for survival, naturally seeks the path of least resistance, making it easy to justify skipping workouts, delaying important tasks, or indulging in time-wasting activities. To build discipline, one must consciously push against this resistance. This requires identifying the specific areas where comfort is hindering progress and strategically implementing structures that make discipline easier. For instance, someone struggling with procrastination must remove digital distractions, set clear deadlines, and create an environment that encourages deep focus. Those aiming to develop a consistent fitness routine must prepare workout clothes in advance, establish a non-negotiable schedule, and eliminate excuses before they arise. A powerful strategy for overcoming resistance is the 5-minute rule, committing to an action for just 5 minutes. The hardest part of any habit is starting, and by reducing the initial friction, momentum builds naturally. Once engaged, the mind shifts from resistance to action, making it easier to continue. Over time, this approach strengthens mental toughness, transforming discipline into an automatic response rather than a forced effort. Building unbreakable mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to persist through discomfort, adversity, and setbacks without losing focus. It is the defining trait of high achievers, the willingness to endure challenges while staying committed to long-term goals. Those with mental toughness do not allow temporary failures or emotional fluctuations to dictate their actions. Instead, they develop a relentless mindset that thrives under pressure. One of the most effective ways to build mental toughness is through voluntary discomfort. By intentionally placing oneself in challenging situations, the mind adapts, becoming stronger and more resilient. This can be achieved through physical challenges such as cold showers, intense workouts, or fasting, as well as mental exercises like extended focus sessions, delayed gratification, or disciplined daily routines. The more frequently discomfort is faced, the more normal it becomes, reducing the power of obstacles and excuses. Another critical aspect of mental toughness is self-discipline in emotions. The ability to regulate reactions, remain composed under stress, and push forward despite uncertainty is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. Rather than allowing frustration, doubt, or fear to dictate decisions, mentally tough individuals train themselves to respond with logic, clarity, and determination. They understand that emotions are temporary, but the impact of their choices lasts indefinitely. The power of daily non-negotiables. To ensure discipline remains strong, successful individuals establish daily non-negotiables, small, powerful actions that serve as the foundation for long-term success. These are not overwhelming or overly complex habits, but core commitments that, when consistently executed, lead to extraordinary results. For example, a daily non-negotiable could be waking up at a specific time, dedicating time to reading, practicing gratitude, exercising, or working on a personal goal. These small disciplines compound over time, reinforcing identity-based habits. When an individual repeatedly engages in disciplined actions, they no longer need to force themselves to be disciplined. They become a disciplined person at the core of their identity. Consistency with non-negotiables is key. Even on difficult days, these actions must be completed, regardless of mood or circumstances. This solidifies the belief that discipline is not conditional on convenience, but a fundamental part of life. The stronger these daily disciplines become, the easier it is to maintain long-term focus and resilience, developing a relentless work ethic. A key characteristic of highly disciplined individuals is an unstoppable work ethic. They do not wait for opportunities or rely on luck. They actively create success through intense effort and strategic action. This level of discipline requires a clear purpose, a structured plan, and an unwavering commitment to execution. One of the most effective ways to develop a relentless work ethic is by adopting the mindset of continuous improvement. Rather than seeking perfection, disciplined individuals focus on incremental progress, becoming slightly better each day. This eliminates the fear of failure and encourages consistent action, knowing that growth is the ultimate goal. Additionally, eliminating distractions is critical to maintaining an intense work ethic. Highly disciplined individuals guard their time ruthlessly, ensuring that every hour is spent on meaningful, high-impact activities. Rather than shallow, energy-draining tasks, they design their environment for maximum efficiency, removing obstacles that interfere with productivity. Mastering discipline and mental toughness is not about short-term willpower. It is about creating an unshakable foundation for lifelong success. Those who commit to this path gain absolute control over their actions, emotions, and future, making them unstoppable in any pursuit. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement, and mental toughness ensures that challenges never derail progress. By consistently practicing self-control, overcoming resistance, and embracing discomfort, individuals develop a mindset that thrives under any circumstance. Success is not reserved for those who are naturally gifted. It belongs to those who are disciplined enough to earn it. Those who commit to mastering discipline design a life where nothing is left to chance, ensuring that every action aligns with their highest potential. Chapter 10: The Science of Habit Formation and Lasting Change. Understanding the psychology of habits, why we do what we do. At the core of every human behavior lies a pattern, a subconscious loop that dictates how we act, react, and ultimately shape our lives. These patterns, known as habits, are the building blocks of our daily existence, determining everything from our productivity levels to our health, relationships, and success. The brain, in its constant quest for efficiency, creates habits as a way to automate repetitive actions and conserve energy. While this is a remarkable advantage, it also means that negative habits, once ingrained, can be just as difficult to break as positive ones are to establish. Habits function through a three-step neurological loop: cue, routine, and reward. The cue is the trigger that signals the brain to enter automatic mode. The routine is the action that follows, and the reward is the benefit received, reinforcing the behavior. This loop is why we instinctively reach for our phones upon waking up, crave certain foods at specific times, or struggle to resist procrastination when faced with difficult tasks. Understanding this cycle is the first step toward mastering habit formation, as it allows us to take control of our actions rather than being controlled by them. The key to lasting change is not to rely on willpower, which fluctuates based on circumstances, but to restructure the habit loop itself. By identifying the cues that trigger undesirable behaviors and replacing the routine with a more constructive action while maintaining a satisfying reward, we can reshape our habits without internal resistance. This process, however, requires conscious effort, repetition, and an understanding of how deeply habits are wired into our neural pathways. Breaking bad habits, rewiring the brain for success. One of the greatest challenges in personal transformation is the removal of deeply ingrained bad habits. These behaviors, often reinforced over years, become automatic responses that seem nearly impossible to change. The reason bad habits persist is not due to a lack of discipline, but because the brain has developed a strong neural connection that makes the habit feel natural and instinctive. To successfully eliminate a negative habit, we must address it at its root cause, rather than merely suppressing the behavior itself. The most effective strategy for breaking bad habits is substitution, rather than elimination. The brain resists change when it perceives the removal of a habit as a loss, leading to discomfort, cravings, and eventual relapse. However, by replacing the negative habit with a more constructive alternative that satisfies the same underlying need, the brain adapts without experiencing deprivation. For example, instead of attempting to stop scrolling social media when stressed, one could replace the behavior with a short walk, deep breathing exercises, or journaling, activities that provide relaxation without the negative effects of mindless distraction. Another critical factor in breaking habits is environmental restructuring. Willpower alone is insufficient when surrounded by constant temptations that reinforce unwanted behaviors. By modifying the environment, removing unhealthy snacks from the kitchen, keeping the phone in another room during deep work, or setting up clear physical reminders, habit breaking becomes significantly easier. The fewer obstacles between intention and action, the greater the likelihood of lasting change. The power of identity-based habits, becoming the person you aspire to be. While most people focus on changing their behaviors, the most effective way to establish lasting habits is to change one's identity. Instead of setting goals like, "I want to exercise more," or "I should wake up early," identity-based habits focus on who you want to become. The shift is profound. When an action aligns with a strong sense of identity, it ceases to be a struggle and becomes a natural part of one's character. For instance, rather than forcing oneself to run daily, adopting the identity of a disciplined athlete changes the perspective. A disciplined athlete does not negotiate whether to train. They train because it is who they are. This approach eliminates internal resistance, as every action reinforces the new identity, strengthening the habit effortlessly. The same principle applies to productivity, nutrition, reading, and personal growth. Instead of trying to act disciplined, one must embody discipline until it becomes an inseparable part of their character. Building identity-based habits requires small wins that compound over time. Each time an individual follows through on an action that aligns with their desired identity, whether it's writing a paragraph, completing a workout, or waking up early, they cast a vote for the person they want to become. Over time, these votes accumulate, solidifying the habit into an intrinsic part of their being. The more one acts in alignment with their identity, the stronger the habit becomes, making it effortless rather than forced. Designing an effective habit system, creating structure for consistency. One of the biggest reasons habits fail is due to a lack of structure and consistency. While motivation may provide an initial spark, long-term success is only possible when habits are integrated into a well-designed system. A strong habit system removes decision fatigue, making it easier to take action regardless of external circumstances. The most effective habit systems follow the principle of automation. This means designing an environment and routine where habits are triggered naturally, eliminating the need for conscious effort. One powerful strategy is habit stacking, which involves attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, if someone wants to develop a habit of reading daily, they can attach it to their morning coffee routine. After I make coffee, I will read for 10 minutes. This method works because the brain already recognizes the original habit, making the addition of a new one seamless. Another critical component of an effective habit system is tracking and reinforcement. Keeping a simple record of daily habits, whether through a physical journal, an app, or a visual tracker, creates a sense of accountability and progress. Each completed action builds momentum, reinforcing consistency and preventing setbacks. The key is to focus on progress rather than perfection, understanding that minor deviations do not equate to failure, but serve as learning opportunities to refine the system further. Leveraging the power of commitment and accountability. While self-discipline is essential for habit formation, external accountability can significantly enhance adherence and long-term success. When individuals commit to a goal publicly, whether through an accountability partner, a coach, or a supportive community, they create psychological leverage that increases their likelihood of following through. The fear of letting others down, combined with the motivation of shared progress, reinforces habit consistency. One of the most powerful commitment strategies is public declaration, where individuals state their goals openly. Studies have shown that when a goal is verbalized and shared with others, the probability of completion increases due to social expectations and personal integrity. Additionally, having a reliable accountability partner, someone who checks in regularly and provides support, further enhances discipline by ensuring that excuses are minimized. Another effective approach is financial commitment, where individuals attach a monetary consequence to their goals. For instance, apps and platforms allow users to bet money on their habits, with penalties for non-compliance. This added stake transforms habits from mere intentions into serious commitments, ensuring higher follow-through rates. Mastering habit formation is not about temporary discipline, but about rewiring the brain for permanent transformation. By understanding the psychology behind habits, breaking negative patterns, and designing a structured system, individuals can take full control over their behaviors and, ultimately, their lives. Success is not built on a single moment of motivation, but on the daily consistent repetition of small habits that compound into extraordinary results. Those who commit to building powerful, identity-based habits create an unstoppable foundation for long-term achievement, growth, and fulfillment. Chapter 11. mastering energy and peak performance. The foundation of energy, why it matters more than time. In the pursuit of success, most people focus exclusively on time management, believing that productivity is a function of hours worked rather than energy invested. However, the most accomplished individuals in any field understand that true mastery lies not in the number of hours spent on a task, but in the quality and intensity of the energy they bring to their work. Energy is the currency of performance, the resource that determines whether an individual operates at their peak potential or struggles through exhaustion and burnout. Without it, even the most disciplined time management strategies crumble under the weight of fatigue and mental depletion. The human body operates on biological rhythms that dictate energy levels throughout the day, a phenomenon known as the ultradian rhythm. Every 90 minutes, the body experiences natural fluctuations in focus, stamina, and cognitive function. Those who understand and work with these rhythms rather than against them are able to sustain high performance without the constant battle against fatigue. This is why elite athletes, top executives, and high-performing creatives structure their day around energy cycles rather than arbitrary time blocks, ensuring that their most demanding tasks align with peak energy windows. Mastering energy is about optimizing both physical and mental states, ensuring that every moment spent working is infused with focus, clarity, and vitality. This requires a fundamental shift from viewing productivity as the number of hours worked to recognizing that the most valuable work is done when the body and mind are operating at full capacity. The key is to cultivate renewable energy sources, allowing for sustained high performance rather than short bursts of intense effort followed by prolonged burnout. The science of energy optimization. Fueling the body for peak output. Energy is not an abstract concept. It is a physiological reality governed by the body's ability to generate and sustain power at a cellular level. The mitochondria, often referred to as the powerhouses of the cells, are responsible for producing adenosine triphosphate, ATP, the energy currency that fuels every bodily function. When mitochondria are strong and efficient, energy levels remain high, cognitive function sharp, and physical stamina abundant. However, when mitochondrial health deteriorates due to poor lifestyle choices, energy production becomes sluggish, leading to chronic fatigue, brain fog, and decreased performance. The primary driver of mitochondrial efficiency is nutrition. What an individual consumes directly impacts cellular energy production, making diet one of the most powerful tools for optimizing performance. Nutrient-dense, whole foods rich in healthy fats, lean proteins, and complex carbohydrates provide the raw materials necessary for sustained energy. Foods high in processed sugars, refined grains, and artificial additives, on the other hand, create energy spikes followed by crashes, leading to inconsistent performance. Hydration also plays a critical role in energy management. Even a small drop in hydration levels, as little as 1 to 2% dehydration, can lead to significant declines in cognitive function, reaction time, and endurance. Water is essential for transporting nutrients, removing toxins, and maintaining cellular efficiency, making it one of the simplest yet most overlooked components of peak performance. Another major factor in energy regulation is blood sugar stability. Fluctuations in glucose levels lead to erratic energy patterns, causing midday crashes, difficulty concentrating, and increased cravings for stimulants like caffeine or sugar. The solution is to prioritize low glycemic foods that provide steady, long-lasting energy rather than rapid spikes and drops. Lean proteins, fiber-rich vegetables, and healthy fats. Slow glucose absorption, keeping energy levels stable throughout the day. Harnessing the power of sleep for maximum recovery. In a world that glorifies grind culture and endless hustle, sleep is often viewed as an inconvenience rather than an essential pillar of success. However, science consistently proves that high performers prioritize sleep as a non-negotiable component of peak performance. Sleep is not just a period of rest. It is an active process of restoration, memory consolidation, and cellular repair, making it one of the most potent productivity enhancers available. The brain operates on a glymphatic system, a waste-clearing mechanism that removes toxins and metabolic byproducts during sleep. When sleep is compromised, these toxins accumulate, leading to impaired cognitive function, slower reaction times, and increased stress levels. Chronic sleep deprivation has been linked to reduced decision-making ability, decreased creativity, and a weakened immune system, all of which are detrimental to sustained high performance. One of the most effective ways to optimize sleep quality is to follow a consistent circadian rhythm, aligning sleep patterns with the body's natural biological clock. Exposure to natural sunlight in the morning, reducing blue light exposure in the evening, and maintaining a regular bedtime routine all contribute to higher sleep efficiency and deeper restorative cycles. Another key factor in sleep optimization is temperature regulation. The body naturally lowers its core temperature during sleep, making a cool, dark environment ideal for maximum recovery. Studies show that the optimal sleeping temperature is around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, or 15 to 19 degrees Celsius, as warmer temperatures can disrupt deep sleep stages and lead to frequent awakenings. The role of movement in sustained energy and cognitive function. Energy is not just about what one eats or how much they sleep. It is also directly influenced by movement and physical activity. The human body was designed for motion, and stagnation leads to energy stagnation, mental fatigue, and decreased resilience. Those who incorporate regular movement throughout the day experience higher energy levels, improved focus, and enhanced overall well-being. One of the most effective ways to combat fatigue is strategic movement breaks. Studies have shown that prolonged periods of sedentary behavior lead to reduced blood circulation, oxygen deprivation, and decreased cognitive function. By incorporating short bursts of movement, whether it's a brief walk, stretching, or deep breathing exercises, one can reignite energy levels and maintain sustained focus. Exercise also plays a critical role in hormonal regulation, particularly in balancing cortisol and dopamine levels. While cortisol is essential for alertness and motivation, chronic overproduction leads to burnout, anxiety, and fatigue. Exercise helps regulate these hormones, ensuring a balanced state of mental and physical performance. Additionally, movement increases the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that supports cognitive function, memory, and overall brain health. For those seeking sustained high performance, the goal is not just intense exercise, but consistent movement integrated into daily routines. Simple actions such as standing desks, walking meetings, and dynamic stretching between tasks can dramatically improve energy regulation without requiring excessive effort. Energy is the foundation of every success, breakthrough, and achievement. Without it, even the most ambitious goals remain out of reach. True high performers understand that managing time is secondary to managing energy, as every moment spent in an optimized state yields exponentially greater results. By mastering nutrition, sleep, movement, and recovery, individuals unlock a sustainable source of energy that allows them to perform at their highest level without burnout. The key is not to work harder, but to work smarter, aligning daily habits with biological rhythms and optimizing every aspect of energy management. In the end, success is not determined by how many hours one works, but by how effectively those hours are utilized. Those who learn to master their energy unlock their fullest potential, achieving more in less time while maintaining long-term well-being and fulfillment. Chapter 12. The Power of Mindset and Mental Conditioning. The Foundation of Mental Mastery. Understanding the mindset-performance connection. Success in any field is not merely a result of talent, hard work, or opportunity. It is deeply rooted in mental conditioning, and the mindset one adopts. The way an individual perceives challenges, setbacks, and opportunities determines their ability to push forward in the face of adversity or falter when faced with obstacles. A strong, resilient mindset is the invisible force that separates high achievers from those who plateau. It is the internal compass that dictates how an individual interprets experiences, reacts to stress, and ultimately shapes their reality. At its core, mindset is a set of beliefs that influence thought patterns, emotions, and behaviors. The two primary types of mindsets, as identified by psychologist Carol Dweck, are the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. Those with a fixed mindset believe that intelligence, talent, and ability are static traits, leading them to shy away from challenges that could expose their weaknesses. Conversely, individuals with a growth mindset embrace challenges as opportunities to expand their abilities, understanding that failure is not a verdict, but a stepping stone toward improvement. Beyond just growth and fixed mindsets, there are also subconscious mental frameworks that dictate performance. These include scarcity versus abundance thinking, internal versus external locus of control, and reactive versus proactive mental habits. Each of these cognitive structures plays a role in how a person approaches goal setting, resilience, and sustained peak performance. The ability to master one's mental landscape is as critical as any skill, for it is the root of discipline, motivation, and long-term success. Rewiring the mind, the science of neuroplasticity and cognitive conditioning. The brain is not a static organ. It is malleable, constantly reshaping itself based on experiences, habits, and thoughts. This phenomenon, known as neuroplasticity, is the reason why some individuals can transform their mental patterns and behaviors, while others remain trapped in cycles of self-doubt, procrastination, and fear. Every thought, every action, and every repeated experience strengthens neural pathways, making certain thought patterns automatic and dominant over time. High performers deliberately rewire their brains by engaging in intentional mental conditioning. This involves strategic practices such as visualization, affirmations, and thought reframing. Visualization, a technique used by elite athletes, CEOs, and creatives, harnesses the brain's ability to simulate experiences before they occur. When an individual vividly imagines success, seeing, feeling, and experiencing it in their mind, the brain treats the visualization as reality, strengthening the neural circuits associated with high performance. Another powerful cognitive tool is affirmation-based conditioning, where individuals reinforce positive beliefs through repeated self-talk. The subconscious mind is impressionable, absorbing dominant narratives, whether they are empowering or destructive. By intentionally feeding the brain constructive, success-oriented messages, individuals can reshape their self-perception and break free from limiting beliefs. This is particularly important in overcoming fear, doubt, and imposter syndrome, which are common roadblocks to peak performance. Reframing, or cognitive restructuring, is another essential aspect of mental conditioning. When faced with adversity, the default human response is often negative interpretation, seeing obstacles as threats rather than opportunities. However, those who have trained their minds to reframe difficulties as stepping stones maintain their momentum even in the face of failure. They understand that every setback is an opportunity for growth, adaptation, and learning, rather than a final verdict on their abilities. The role of emotional resilience, mastering stress and pressure. In the world of high performance, stress is not an anomaly. It is a constant. However, what differentiates those who thrive under pressure from those who crumble is not the absence of stress, but the ability to manage and leverage it effectively. Emotional resilience, the ability to recover quickly from setbacks and regulate emotions under pressure, is a crucial component of mental toughness and sustained excellence. Stress, when managed correctly, can be a powerful catalyst for growth. It activates the body's adaptive response system, sharpening focus, increasing motivation, and preparing the mind for high-stakes situations. However, when stress is mismanaged, it leads to burnout, anxiety, and decreased cognitive function. The key to high performance is harnessing stress as an ally rather than an enemy, learning to channel its energy productively rather than succumbing to its destructive effects. One of the most effective ways to regulate stress is through controlled breathing techniques, such as diaphragmatic breathing and the 4-7-8 method. These techniques activate the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering cortisol levels and creating a state of calm even in high-pressure environments. Additionally, mindfulness and meditation have been proven to enhance cognitive function, increase emotional stability, and improve decision-making under stress. By training the brain to remain composed under duress, individuals can maintain clarity and focus even in the most challenging circumstances. Resilience is also deeply tied to self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Those who understand their own emotional triggers and reactions can develop strategies to remain centered in moments of crisis. Instead of reacting impulsively, they respond with intentionality and control, ensuring that their emotions serve their objectives rather than hinder them. The power of mental endurance, staying motivated and focused. Over the long haul, success is not built on short bursts of motivation. It is sustained by long-term mental endurance. Many people start with enthusiasm, but only those with mental stamina sustain their efforts when the initial excitement fades. This ability to maintain focus, discipline, and drive over an extended period is what separates temporary success from lasting achievement. One of the primary drivers of mental endurance is intrinsic motivation, the deep internal reasons that fuel perseverance, unlike external motivators such as money, recognition, or competition. Intrinsic motivation is rooted in purpose, passion, and personal fulfillment. Those who connect their efforts to a meaningful why are far more likely to push through difficulties, as their motivation is not dependent on external validation. Another key factor in mental endurance is habit formation and automation. When tasks and behaviors become habitual, they require less mental effort to sustain, making consistency easier. This is why high performers rely on structured routines, eliminating the need for willpower by embedding success-driven behaviors into their daily lives. Discipline is also a fundamental component of mental endurance. While motivation fluctuates, discipline ensures consistent progress, regardless of mood or external circumstances. Those who develop the habit of showing up, whether they feel like it or not, create unstoppable momentum that propels them toward their goals. The mind is the ultimate tool for success, resilience, and peak performance. Those who master their mental conditioning unlock a level of potential that is inaccessible to those who are controlled by doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs. By rewiring thought patterns, cultivating emotional resilience, and sustaining mental endurance, individuals gain the ability to navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and perform at their highest level. True success is not just about skill or effort. It is about mental mastery. The greatest performers in history, from elite athletes to visionary entrepreneurs, all share one thing in common. They have mastered their minds before they mastered their craft. Those who do the same unlock a world of limitless possibilities, achieving more than they ever imagined possible. Chapter 13. The Art of Deep Work and Laser Focus. The Age of Distraction. Understanding the battle for attention. In an era where distractions are omnipresent, the ability to concentrate deeply has become a rare and valuable skill. With the rise of smartphones, social media, instant messaging, and an endless stream of notifications, maintaining focus has never been more challenging. Every beep, buzz, and alert pulls attention away from meaningful work, fragmenting concentration and reducing the brain's ability to engage in sustained thinking. Studies show that the average person's attention span has declined significantly over the past 2 decades, a troubling reality in a world that demands higher cognitive performance. The modern knowledge worker, entrepreneur, or student faces an uphill battle against an environment designed to steal focus. Distraction is not merely an inconvenience, it is a productivity killer. The brain requires uninterrupted periods of concentration to engage in what researchers call deep work, the state of focused, undistracted immersion that leads to high-value output and creative breakthroughs. Unlike shallow work, which consists of mindless tasks that can be done while multitasking, deep work demands intense cognitive effort, critical thinking, and problem-solving. It is the type of work that produces groundbreaking ideas, sharpens expertise, and fosters long-term mastery. Yet, without conscious effort, most people remain trapped in a cycle of superficial engagement, constantly shifting between low-impact tasks without ever reaching a state of deep focus. The battle for attention is not just external, it is also internal. The human brain is wired to seek novelty, a survival mechanism that once helped early humans stay alert to potential threats. However, in the modern world, this tendency manifests as compulsive checking, scrolling, and seeking distractions. The brain rewards these behaviors with dopamine, reinforcing the cycle of distraction and making it harder to sustain prolonged concentration. This is why the ability to engage in deep work is not just a matter of willpower, but a skill that must be intentionally cultivated, protected, and refined. The science of deep work, how the brain engages in high-level thinking. The brain operates in different cognitive states, each affecting focus and productivity. One of the most significant distinctions is between diffuse mode and focused mode thinking. Focused mode, which occurs during deep work, is when the brain applies intense concentration to complex tasks. This state allows for high-order problem-solving, skill acquisition, and creative innovation. In contrast, diffuse mode occurs during periods of relaxation or distraction, allowing the brain to make unexpected connections and synthesize information at a subconscious level. Both states are essential, but it is during focused mode that the most valuable intellectual work takes place. One of the primary barriers to deep work is attention residue, the lingering cognitive effects of switching tasks. When a person jumps from checking emails to working on an important project and then glancing at social media, their brain does not instantly reset. Instead, part of their attention remains stuck on the previous task, making it difficult to fully engage with the new one. Research shows that even a brief interruption can significantly impair performance, sometimes requiring up to 20 minutes to regain full concentration. This means that those who constantly switch between tasks are never truly working at their full cognitive capacity. Engaging in deep work requires shifting the brain into a state of flow, a term coined by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Flow is the mental state in which a person is fully immersed in an activity, experiencing heightened focus, creativity, and productivity. Time seems to disappear, distractions fade, and work becomes effortless, yet highly effective. Achieving flow is not accidental. It requires the right conditions, including a clear goal, manageable difficulty, and the elimination of external and internal distractions. The deep work ritual, strategies for building a focused work environment. To cultivate a deep work habit, it is essential to create a structured routine that minimizes distractions and optimizes mental energy. One of the most effective strategies is time blocking, where dedicated periods of the day are reserved exclusively for deep, uninterrupted work. Unlike an open-ended approach where work is scattered throughout the day, time blocking ensures that specific hours are protected from interruptions, allowing the brain to enter and sustain deep focus. A crucial element of deep work is environmental design. The physical and digital workspace should be optimized to encourage focus and eliminate distractions. This includes decluttering the workspace, minimizing noise, and setting up cues that signal the brain that it is time for deep work. On the digital front, this means disabling notifications, using website blockers, and setting up email autoresponders to reduce incoming distractions. The fewer interruptions in the work environment, the easier it is to maintain prolonged concentration. Another powerful tool for deep work is the pre-work ritual, a set of actions that prepare the brain for focus. This can include meditation, breathing exercises, reviewing key goals, or engaging in a brief warm-up activity. By consistently performing this ritual before deep work sessions, the brain begins to associate the routine with a state of intense concentration, making it easier to transition into deep focus. For those who struggle with distractions, implementing monastic or bimodal deep work can be effective. The monastic approach involves eliminating all shallow work for extended periods, allowing for complete immersion in a single task. The bimodal approach alternates between periods of deep work and lighter, more routine tasks, ensuring balance between focus and administrative duties. Each method serves to protect cognitive energy and optimize mental performance. Overcoming mental resistance, the discipline of sustained focus. Even with the right strategies, deep work requires mental discipline and the ability to push through initial resistance. One of the biggest challenges is overcoming the discomfort of boredom. In a world of instant gratification, many have lost the ability to sit with difficult tasks without seeking external stimulation. However, training the brain to tolerate boredom is a key component of deep work. This can be done by gradually extending focus sessions, avoiding unnecessary digital distractions, and practicing activities that require patience, such as reading or writing by hand. Another common challenge is managing mental fatigue. Since deep work demands intense cognitive effort, it is important to prioritize rest and recovery. The brain, like any muscle, needs downtime to recharge. This is why strategic breaks, quality sleep, and deliberate relaxation are essential components of a high-performance mindset. Engaging in physical exercise, spending time in nature, and practicing mindfulness can help restore mental energy, making deep work sessions more effective. The ultimate key to deep work is developing a long-term commitment to focused productivity. This means setting clear goals, tracking progress, and consistently refining one's approach. Those who cultivate the discipline of deep work gain a significant advantage over those who remain trapped in cycles of distraction and shallow engagement. In a world that constantly demands attention, the ability to engage in deep, focused work is a superpower. It is the foundation of high achievement, creative breakthroughs, and mastery. By understanding the cognitive science behind focus, implementing structured work rituals, and overcoming mental resistance, individuals can unlock their full intellectual potential. Deep work is not just about working harder, it is about working smarter. Those who develop this skill achieve higher quality output in less time, freeing themselves from the exhaustion of constant task switching and scattered focus. In an age of distraction, those who master the art of deep work stand apart, capable of producing work that is truly meaningful, impactful, and enduring. Chapter 14, The Legacy of the 5 a.m. Habit, Sustaining Lifelong Transformation. The Culmination of Discipline, How Daily Habits Shape Lifelong Success. The journey of waking up at 5 a.m. is not merely about rising early. It is about embracing a philosophy of intentional living, discipline, and relentless self-improvement. What begins as a simple shift in the morning routine evolves into a transformative force that reshapes not just a day, but an entire lifetime. Those who master this habit discover that waking up early is not the end goal. It is the gateway to sustained personal and professional excellence. Over time, the compound effects of rising early accumulate, creating a legacy of success that extends far beyond personal ambition. The The discipline of waking at 5 a.m. ingrains a mindset of self-mastery and control. By consistently honoring this commitment, individuals condition their minds to prioritize action over comfort, responsibility over excuses, and progress over stagnation. The ability to rise early despite fatigue or temptation strengthens the mental muscles necessary for resilience, endurance, and long-term achievement. This discipline extends into other areas of life, influencing decision-making, work ethic, and goal setting. A person who masters their mornings soon finds themselves mastering their habits, relationships, and career trajectories. Beyond individual success, the impact of the 5 a.m. habit is felt in the ripple effect it creates in communities, families, and organizations. When one person embodies the principles of consistency, hard work, and personal growth, they inspire those around them to do the same. Leaders who wake early set the tone for their teams, entrepreneurs who embrace the discipline drive innovation, and parents who model commitment cultivate excellence in their children. The true power of this habit lies not just in personal gains, but in the legacy it builds for future generations. The psychology of long-term habit sustainability. Many individuals embark on new habits with enthusiasm, but struggle to sustain them. The psychology behind habit formation reveals that true behavioral change requires more than motivation. It demands identity shifts, reinforcement systems, and deep emotional connections to purpose. The 5 a.m. habit, when built correctly, becomes an ingrained part of one's identity rather than a temporary practice. One of the fundamental principles of sustaining habits is habit stacking, where the new behavior, waking up at 5 a.m., is linked to already established routines. For example, immediately after waking up, one can engage in a fixed sequence: hydration, exercise, journaling, and focused work. This chain of actions reduces decision fatigue, making it easier to stay consistent. When an action becomes an automatic part of a structured routine, it shifts from being a struggle to being second nature. Another key factor in sustaining the 5 a.m. habit is reinforcement through reward systems. The human brain is wired to seek immediate gratification, which can make long-term habits difficult to maintain. To counteract this, it is crucial to celebrate small wins, whether through tracking progress, setting milestone rewards, or acknowledging improvements in productivity and well-being. Over time, as the brain associates early rising with tangible benefits, the habit becomes more deeply embedded. Equally important is the emotional connection to purpose. People who sustain powerful habits over a lifetime do so because their routines are tied to a compelling reason for change. Those who wake up early solely out of obligation often struggle, whereas those who link the habit to a deeply personal aspiration, such as building a legacy, achieving financial freedom, or making a lasting impact, develop unwavering commitment. Overcoming setbacks and staying on course. Even the most disciplined individuals face setbacks. Whether due to illness, travel, workload, or personal challenges, disruptions to the routine can occur. The key to longevity in any habit is not perfection, but resilience, the ability to recover quickly and re-establish the pattern without prolonged deviation. One of the most common pitfalls in habit maintenance is the all-or-nothing mindset, where a single missed day leads to discouragement and complete abandonment of the practice. However, those who sustain habits long-term understand that consistency is about overall patterns, not flawless execution. Missing a morning or even a few days does not erase progress. What matters is the ability to recommit and resume with full intensity. Another critical factor in long-term sustainability is flexibility in approach. Life circumstances change, and rigid routines often collapse under unforeseen pressures. The key is to adapt the core principles of the 5 a.m. habit to different life phases. For example, if work schedules or responsibilities shift, one can adjust wake-up times while still preserving the early morning structure of self-improvement, planning, and productivity. By remaining adaptable while holding on to the essence of the habit, longevity is ensured. Additionally, surrounding oneself with a strong support system reinforces habit sustainability. Engaging with like-minded individuals, joining accountability groups, or partnering with a mentor provides encouragement and motivation during challenging times. Those who thrive in their commitment to early rising often build environments that make success inevitable rather than optional. The final transformation: becoming the architect of your future. The ultimate purpose of the 5 a.m. habit is not just to wake early, but to gain control over life's trajectory. Those who commit to this practice with discipline and purpose discover that they are no longer reacting to circumstances, but actively shaping their future. Waking at 5 a.m. provides an edge, but what truly matters is how that time is used. Whether for strategic thinking, creative pursuits, personal development, or deep work, the early hours serve as a sacred space for transformation. The greatest achievers are those who turn this time into a laboratory for mastery, using the silence of the morning to craft visions, refine skills, and execute high-value actions. Over time, the compounded impact of structured mornings leads to exponential growth. The discipline, productivity, and mental clarity cultivated in the early hours extend into all areas of life, resulting in increased energy, sharper decision-making, and a greater sense of fulfillment. Those who sustain this practice for years witness a profound evolution, not just in their achievements, but in their mindset, character, and legacy. The legacy of the 5 a.m. habit is ultimately about ownership and responsibility. It is the recognition that success is not a matter of luck, but of daily choices, structured discipline, and unwavering commitment to personal greatness. The individuals who internalize this principle no longer wait for opportunities. They create them. They no longer hope for change. They become the architects of it. They no longer drift through life. They design it with precision, intention, and unshakable purpose. As this journey comes to a close, one truth remains evident: the 5 a.m. habit is more than a practice. It is a philosophy for life mastery. Those who embrace it with full conviction discover that the rewards extend far beyond early mornings. They cultivate discipline, resilience, purpose, and a relentless drive to create an extraordinary life. The final challenge, then, is not simply to continue waking up early, but to carry the principles learned into every aspect of life. Whether in health, relationships, career, or personal growth, the habits built in the stillness of the morning serve as a foundation for excellence. The individual who commits to this journey does not just wake early. They rise with purpose, lead with clarity, and leave behind a legacy of transformation that endures long beyond their lifetime.